Hello and good morning. Welcome to our webinar on building customer loyalty. We have 25 minutes together today, so just in interest of time, I guess I will make a start. You might already know that eBay and UK have partnered, eBay UK have partnered with Small Business Britain to bring you a series of training events. And here is the second event within the series. And all these training events are focused on helping your business to reach the next level in 2023. And today we are looking together at how to build customer loyalty. So my name is Joanna Michaels. I've been involved in digital marketing, especially in the startup and small and medium business world for the last 10 years. So throughout this time, I have supported quite a wide range of startups and SMEs, mainly with their digital marketing and social media strategies. And I've also delivered quite a lot of training, whether that's on behalf of London-based universities or other organizations like Facebook. And as of recent, and that's in line with my specific interest in digital well-being and mental health, I'm very happy to be working alongside a couple of really meaningful charities. If you would like to connect with me post-webinar, please find me on LinkedIn under Joanna Michaels, or on Instagram under the name of my consultancy, which is Beyond Social Buzz. I would like to state just before we start that the advice and opinions shared in the sessions are my own, and they don't necessarily reflect the views or positions of eBay or Small Business Britain. Okay, so let's look at what's to come today. So this is our agenda. We have 25 minutes and quite a lot to cover. So we'll have a brief intro and then we'll go straight into really thinking about what is customer loyalty. We will then dive into the value of loyalty and specifically looking at numbers and research, because I'm so eager to prove to you the value, the tangible value and the importance of building customer loyalty. We'll then move on to practical tips and strategies that I hope you will be able to implement straight after the webinar within your business, or at least consider them for the near future. And we'll finish off with 2 case studies, starting with Nike and then also looking at much smaller UK business, Painter Jackets. And they both are amazing, both fantastic examples of very strong ideas and programs beyond building customer loyalty, and hopefully lots of ideas and inspirations for yourself. And if we have enough time, we'll look at some questions. Okay, so without further delay, let's think together what really is beyond our us making buying decisions as consumers. So we are perhaps business owners within this webinar, but we are also consumers ourselves. What makes you buy from the same place? Perhaps you're buying your coffee from the same place within your local area, or maybe where you work. That's definitely the case with me. I love one coffee shop where I am in North London, and I definitely pay probably £1.50 more than the coffee in Starbucks, but something brings me back and I don't even mind the price. Although I probably mind the price sometimes, but I still come back. So what is it? Is this the smiley barista? Is this the taste of the coffee, the scent of the coffee perhaps? Is this the vibe of the place? Is this the little card I have with 10 stamps, and every 10 stamps I get my free coffee? Or is it because of the habit? So interesting what makes us come back, and I hope to give you some answers today. What is customer loyalty? So loads of definitions out there. Here is one I prepared for you. Customer loyalty is an ongoing emotional relationship, a dedication of a customer, which manifests itself by the willingness on the side of customer to engage and repeatedly purchase from you versus your competition. We also know that customer loyalty is a direct result of customer satisfaction, positive customer experiences, the overall value of the goods, and the quality of what the person receives from the business. There are many benefits of customer loyalty, and I'm sure you are already aware of some, but just to point this out to you, loyalty really is the best proof of the quality of your product. It's essentially, it speaks for itself. If people keep coming back, then clearly whatever you sell is of great quality. It helps you with planning. So if you have loyal customers, it's so much easier to make budgeting decisions and forecasts for the future. What's interesting, loyal customers are not really easily put off by the price. In fact, they are not even put off by waiting times. So whether that's to do with the price or with supply, they are ready to wait longer just to get the product that they really like. Finally, they can provide a lot of feedback, valuable feedback, which can then help you to shape the product and perhaps change the product and enhance the system, the process. And finally, they are a source of free marketing. How wonderful when they can become a source of referrals and positive word of mouth. But actually, I really want to show you some numbers. So we'll be now looking at statistics and research and numbers. So really, what's the value of loyalty? And I gathered some research here for you. So they are all referenced there under different points. So different points of reference, but I think all in all, a really strong message. Acquiring a new customer is 5 times more expensive than retaining a new one. And you get a free word of mouth. I think, that obviously cannot be underestimated. And we will look at how people refer and when they refer. So yes, so we've got 5 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than to retain and really cherish the relationship with the existing customer. When it comes to e-commerce, it's an industry where mistakes are part of a parcel, and you are bound to make some mistakes when you're selling online. The thing about loyal customers is that they are much more forgiving than new customers. So that's something, again, to think about. Maybe some other interesting stats. 80% of most businesses' revenue comes from 20% of their clients. So quite an astonishing when you think about it, that major part of your profit actually comes from a very small number, comes from a specific group of clients. So here we're talking about 20%. What we also know about repeat customers, that they are much more likely to spend more. And it's much easier to sell to them. So we can see that existing customers are 60–70% more likely to buy from you other products in terms of upselling than it is to sell to a new prospect. According to Harvard Business School, increasing customer retention rates by 5% can increase your profit by 25 to 95%. What an incredible value in retention. And finally, a little quote here from an article from Microsoft. Loyal customers are 5 times more likely to repurchase, 5 times as likely to forgive, 4 times as likely to refer, and 7 times as likely to try a new offering. And yet, only 18% of companies focus on retention, while the majority focuses on acquisition. So definitely food for thought for us here. What is your business focused on? The next sale, the next new customer acquisition, or retention? It's important for us to mention customer experience when we think about building loyalty, because customer experience is directly linked to loyalty and building loyalty. So something that most companies already know, that customer experience is the driving factor of loyalty. The fact that most customers would switch brands because of bad customer experience. And finally, that we as people like talking, and interestingly enough, we are more likely to talk about our experience with brands if it's been a negative experience. So customers tell an average of 9 people about positive experience with business, while they will tell 16 people about negative experience. So that's from Forbes. So how interesting, and it's certainly aligns with me. I mean, I definitely, and perhaps I'm sorry to say that, I'm more likely to write a review about holidays or a hotel or a restaurant if I had a bad review. So we often forget to actually pay attention to positive word of mouth and maybe appreciation when things go really well. So yes, we are much more likely to talk about negative experiences, and that's very important for you as business to remember about it. The power of loyalty programs. Loyalty programs are cherished by customers. In fact, 83% of customers say that belonging to a loyalty program influences their decision to buy again from a brand. Perhaps that links back to my little card with stamps and, every 10th coffee being free. When I think about the example that I brought initially. And brands with loyalty programs create that emotional connection, which then, according to research, has a direct impact on average spend. And when we look at brands, some large brands, very successful brands like McDonald's or Disney or Costco, they all have a strong loyalty program in place. So what does this data show us? So before we dive into practical tips and strategies for you to take away and implement within your business, it definitely shows us that this is an opportunity to really think about your strategy in 2023. What are you focused on? And especially if you are selling items that are bought repeatedly, then shaping your strategy in 2023 that's focused on loyalty and building retention amongst your buyers is something that you should definitely consider. So let's look at practical examples. We have some lovely screenshots here provided by eBay. First, maybe very practical tip, something that might be obvious to some of you, something that might be less obvious for perhaps those of you who are new to the world of e-commerce, integrating your online store with your website or within your website. There are so many options. So whether you can use the existing website and add e-commerce functionality within the website, or perhaps you can integrate the platform you are selling from, like eBay, within your website. Whichever way you choose to go about it, you will be able to showcase your products in one place and add a touch of personalization. And if you, like I said, if you go down the route of integrating your site with eBay, and perhaps some of you don't even want to have a website, and in those cases, you can just basically stay with eBay shop as a storefront. You can just use it on its own. This can be your shop. So whether you decide to do it with integration through your website or have a standalone shop with eBay, that's absolutely fine. That's entirely up to you. I think perhaps what's interesting and what's worth remembering is personalization and elements of branding. So remembering to think about your branding colors, your logo, a banner, so something that creates that adds that touch of personalization and showcasing your products under the right categories, adding a really well-optimized shop description. So different things to think about. And perhaps here we have some ideas in front of us on the screen of how this could be achieved. Building trust, perhaps that's something that's already self-explanatory for most of us. We do buy more from people we like and we trust. And too many sellers, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but there is a strong reason for it. We are so focused on making that next sale that perhaps we don't really focus enough on what's happening before the sale and after the sale in terms of building relationship, making yourself more likable and increasing that trust factor, which is directly linked to sales. So be honest and transparent in your product descriptions, but also use them to make yourself more likable. If you already don't do so, make sure that you outline clearly your shipping, your returns, and your refund policy. And this will help you to send those very important trust signals that your business cares about its customers. Explain to people that if there is a problem, you are willing to help to resolve it. And of course, stick to your word. but spell it out. You might think to yourself, oh, of course, I'll do my best, but add it to descriptions, say it to your potential customers so that trust factor, those trust signals are sent early on. Finally, clearly explain the value of your product. And I'll be showing you later practical examples from the two companies that were already mentioned and how explicit they are, how detailed they are about the materials they use and about different features of the product, whether that's safety features, whatever it is about your product, spell it out, talk about it so people understand perhaps why you might be charging more for your products and why they might be superior to what else is available on the market. We talked already about quality, but I think that's really worth re-emphasizing. 74% of consumers say that product quality is the main reason to stay loyal to the brand. So quality really should be top priority on your list if that's what you want to do, if you want to build customer loyalty. Maintaining a high quality product really means that people will come back to you automatically. And also they are much more likely to recommend you to others. So if you are proud of your product, again, spell it out, point it out as point of differentiation, talk about it, talk about what's so special about the quality of what you offer. Building loyalty, another way could be really going out of your way to considering to supplying products, offering products that are very hard to come by. And many buyers shop on eBay, for example, or other platforms because they can get items there, they can find items that they cannot find anywhere else. So by simply going through the effort of sourcing those, that perhaps is already a good step towards building loyalty. Loyalty programs, of course, not all of these will be applicable to you, so they won't be all relevant, especially when it comes perhaps to loyalty cards in this case, when we think about, for example, eBay sellers, but we know that there might be a great mix of attendees today and maybe businesses, brick and mortar businesses, so loads of different ideas on how you could introduce loyalty program. And I'm sure we could talk so much more about loyalty program, but just because of the time constraints, I'm just throwing at you some ideas that maybe you could consider. Okay, so shipping strategy, so important to think about. So really trying to use free shipping wherever possible, where the price of the shipping is included within the price of the product. Then really thinking about tracked shipping, again, when it comes to trust factor, the idea of the customer knowing and being more comfortable and confident that the product will reach them because they can see, they can track the product. That again can really provide a much better and reliable experience for them. And maybe a word on the speed of shipping. We have a really useful quote here from eBay. So offering delivery within 3 days can see your sales increase by as much as 7%. So definitely worth considering. Email marketing and loyalty. Email marketing is often a little bit forgotten, and within my work, I specifically specialize within digital marketing and social media marketing, but I have colleagues who specialize in email marketing, and I always emphasize to them how important is what they do, helping startups and small and medium businesses to really strengthen their email marketing strategies. So important, really one of the ways of doing digital marketing, which is directly linked to return on investment. And as you might know, there are so many platforms, so many email marketing platforms that where you can send free emails up to a certain level. And this is a brilliant way of retaining customers and building customer loyalty. And we'll be talking more, I'm aware of the time, but within those two cases, those case studies that I want to show you, specifically the small business uses email marketing beautifully. Finally, investing in excellent customer experience. So customer experience really at the very heart of building loyalty. 82% of customers leave due to poor service. So very important for you to anticipate perhaps busy periods within your business, trying to put things in place, processes, maybe more employees, to really make sure that within those times of the year, you have the capacity to take orders, taking complaints seriously. From my experience working with startups and small and medium businesses, there is often such fear of negative word of mouth, of complaints, and yet I have some proof here to you that it's not all bad. In fact, 70% of complaining customers will buy from you again as soon as you resolve the complaint in their favor. The number increases to 95% if the complaint is resolved instantly. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just be ready to rectify it in a timely manner, right? So it's not all lost, not at all, but if we are there to really support them and resolve it. And maybe a quick note here on detailed seller feedback. So important for those of you who sell on eBay to really keep it as close to 100% as possible. And very briefly, before we move to examples, being proactive in terms of asking for feedback. When you think about it, again, we mainly give feedback when we are unhappy. We often forget to give feedback when we are happy. Reach out to happy customers, you know, that the transaction went well, ask them proactively for feedback. And when you think about it, it can really help you to build a powerful brand story. Maybe you're able to say that your product so far impacted 25,000 of people in a positive way, and you have data to back it up because you have positive feedback from so many people. How powerful could that be? Okay, so let's look at some case studies. We'll start with Nike. Of course, I understand it's a huge brand, huge global brand, doesn't really need introducing. You might be thinking, why am I even bringing this? Well, there is a reason for it, because I think they are brilliant at inspiring all businesses at different levels and businesses of all different sizes. So they have a very strong loyalty program driven by these values: exclusivity, community, personalization, and very smooth sort of omni-channel experience. Whether you buy from them online or through the store or through the app, it's always a great experience. So what can we learn from Nike's experience? Really try to build expertise in a particular area, the area of your product. Know everything about it. Think about email marketing and perhaps offering newsletter or maybe pushing out different things, classes, webinars through the newsletter that can bring the community around the product together. Send customer trial products in order to get feedback, handwritten notes to build that personalization. And of course, think about smooth experience offline and online, and if you have brick and mortar business as well. And very quickly, last example of painter jackets. I cannot encourage you enough to look at these guys online. This is a small business, UK-based, I think run by 2 people. This is definitely no hype brand. If anything, they are all about exclusivity and actually against sort of huge e-commerce businesses. It is all about slow and limited supply, limited e-commerce. They release only, I think, a few hundred jackets every few months here in the UK, and these jackets sell within minutes, if not seconds. They have very long, I guess it depends on the person, but if you buy a jacket from them, you will wait 8 weeks. And this is all in a way part of their strategy, because their email marketing keeps you beautifully engaged with the journey of the jacket, the materials that are used, who makes it. So there is this whole anticipation built about the product, and it's all in line with longevity of the product as well as sustainability, which they are very serious about. They are also great on social media. I cannot encourage you enough to look them up, and they do some wonderful things for charities as well. So perhaps some ideas for you and some inspirations for you to consider. Both in terms of inspiration on a larger scale, but also a very practical thing here with painter jackets, which is done on much smaller scale and yet with great success. So I'm aware that we are coming to the end and we run out of time. There is so much I would love to share with you. So a big thank you from myself and on behalf of eBay and Small Business Britain. Thank you very much for joining us today.